Attention, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the open Q&A session with Professor Marcelo, and Professor Marcelo is me. Yes, correct. Correct. It's a pleasure to be here. And once again, regardless if you are a white belt, if you are a yellow belt, if you are a green belt, if you are a black belt, or if you are a master black belt, or if you don't know nothing about Lean Six Sigma, regardless where you are in terms of the Lean Six Sigma journey, you are very much welcomed. And all questions are good questions. Okay? So thank you very much. Feel free to go ahead and drop your questions, in our chat window. And I'll be glad, I'll be happy, I'll be very happy to take your questions, okay? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Alexandre. Tudo bem? How are you? Hello, Usman. Hello, Cedric. Cedric, I hope the pronunciation is correct. Hello, Vindra. Hello, Marcel. Please, on a scale from 0 to 10, how is my audio? How is the quality of my audio, please? Wonderful. You know that today, before starting this session, I was thinking of Pareto. Pareto, Vilfredo Pareto. It's interesting because many people think that when we say 80-20, 80-20, we are talking about 100%, and then we are splitting like 80%, and then the difference to get 100% is 20, right? So many people think that we have a 8-20 Pareto, that we have 70-30 Pareto, that we have 60-40 Pareto, but in fact this is wrong. This is wrong because, and by the way, type here yes if you are familiar with this concept of 80-20. Type here if you know what is Pareto and if you are familiar with 80-20. Type here yes if you know this concept. Yes. And we should not consider like the difference to 100%. Why? Because we are talking about two different dimensions. 80% we are talking about one dimension. 20% we are talking about another dimension. 80% I'm talking about output, about response, about effect. 20% I'm talking about factors. I'm talking about input. I'm talking about causes. I'm talking about potential causes. Yeah, so I think we can explore that. I think we can explore this a little bit. A little bit. So let me add here. Please let me know if you guys can see my screen. Yeah, 1 second, guys. Yeah, can you guys see my screen? Wonderful, excellent. So let me just generate here, just generate here some data. Okay. It's the same. One second, guys. Okay. So I'm gonna generate here some data that is number of defects and defect type. Okay, very simple, very simple. And by the way, it's better to do like this: defect type and number of defects. So defect 1, defect 2, and then let me generate some data here. Yeah, so we have number of defects and then here defect type. Wonderful, excellent. So see, if I go ahead and run a Pareto, and by the way, Pareto is not in graph, is not in graph. It is really instead quality tools and Pareto chart. And then we have here defect type and then frequency, number of defects. And so let's understand that. Okay, let's understand that. So see that defect number 4, we have it like it is the most critical type of defect. Yes, most critical type of defect. And we have here 88 defects, and it represents 19.3% of the total amount of defects. Okay? Of the total amount of defects. We do have defect 1 that represents 16.4% of the total amount of defects. And if I go ahead and I add up to the previous type of defect, I do have 35.7. So see that the cumulative percentage is going up. It's going up. 19.3, 35.7, 52.1, 65.6, 78.8. So see that, for example, if I take 5 out of 10 defects, come here with me, 5 out of 10 defects. You guys tell me, let's suppose Vindra tells me that, hello Samuel, that he has 10 problems to solve. And then he says, Marcelo, yesterday out of the 10 problems that I had to solve, I've solved 5. 5 problems were solved out of 10. Come on, guys. The vast majority of the people would say what? Would say what? That you have solved, which percentage of your let's say of your headache, yeah, which percentage of your headache. I have problems to solve. All of us, we have problems to solve. Then let's suppose someone tells, out of 10 problems, that's the total amount of problems that I have to solve, I've solved 5. So the vast majority of the people would say, okay, so you have solved 50% of your problems. But that's when prioritization plays such a vital role. Because if you have properly prioritized your problems, you know that there are, let me go one by one here. There are 5 problems. That if you touch, if you solve, if you resolve these 5 problems, you will not be solving 50% of your pain, of your headache. Who knows which percentage of problems would you be solving? If you tackle, if you address, the right or the top 5 priority problems. Yeah? So you would be solving 78.8% of your headache. So my question for you is, 78.8% is more than 50%. I need to ask that. I'm sorry. 78.8% is greater than, or it is less than 50%. So see that here I am making an optimization in terms of, I am optimizing the usage of my energy. That's it. I am optimizing the usage of my energy. This is a very serious conversation. And in this case, I do not have an 80-20 Pareto. I do not have an 80-20. I have what? A 78 We can round up 79, 78.8, 50. Type yes if you understood that. I have a 78.8, 50. Yeah, that's my Pareto. It's not an 80-20. It's a 78.8, 50. Meaning, I found 50% of the defects that represent 78.8%. Yeah? John just placed a very important point here. We need to be careful with severity, because sometimes you have defect 3 that the severity, how critical severity is. The definition of severity is, severity translates how critical an effect is at the client. It's like the intensity of your pain. So for example, on a car, safety elements by nature, they have a higher severity than items related to cosmetic, for example, like just visual. So safety, the severity is way higher than cosmetic. So I need to ask you guys again, please let me know if you understood on a scale from 0 to 10. Please let me know if you understood that here we have a Pareto that is 78.8, 50. And why 78.8? Because the cumulative percentage of defects is adding up to 78.8%. And why 50? Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 types of defects. Yeah? And then I have tackled 5 out of 10. Yeah, guys, this very simple conversation is extremely powerful. We all have 24 hours per day. If you want to stay healthy, probably you need to sleep from 6, some people to 9 hours. Yeah? So let's consider 8 hours. Let's consider 8 hours. So we all have 16 hours. Let's say, let's call this available time per day. 16 hours per day. We need to be very careful on how are we using these 16 days. Because I know you have some professional objectives, some personal objectives. I know you have your dreams, right? So we need to be very careful and check if the things that we are doing are somehow connected, leading to the professional and personal objectives that we have defined. Because it's very easy to operate. It's very easy to operate in this region here. It is very easy. Sometimes we don't notice that we are operating on a region of the Pareto that is adding minimal value, for us to reach our main objectives. Yeah, and by the way, it is important to map. It is important to map out your day-to-day activities. If possible, take my recommendation would be 1 month. Yeah, 1 month. And then you take at the top of the hour, you just map what you did, like high level. If possible, what you did in the past 15 minutes. Yeah, there is another strategy that is every 15 minutes you can use your cell phone for that. There's an alarm. You can set an alarm. Every 15 minutes, you just write down what you are doing at that moment. This is another strategy. I prefer at the top of the hour, you quickly go ahead and you write down what you did, in the past hour. Okay, on an Excel sheet. So you can do this for 1 month, every other day. So you do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and then Tuesday, Thursday, yeah, every other day. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and for 4 weeks, yeah. 4 weeks. You have 14 days. 14 days. And then after that, you will just classify the activities, and then you guys can define the criteria. I like to do important, urgent. Important means it is directly connected to what I want to accomplish in terms of personal and the professional objectives. Yes. Urgent means not necessarily connected. So my car broke last week. Yeah, my car had a major defect. On a component that is associated to safety. Yes. So it consumed a lot of hours from I don't have a person that I can just outsource. Okay, take care of my car. I am not at this level. So I had to take care of that. Pretty much to drive. The problem is that the maintenance of my car is not in my city. It's like 1 hour from my city. And then I need to take my computer, drive to this place, and then work from there. So I've spent, I don't know, maybe 4 hours on something urgent. Definitely not connected to my personal and professional objectives. Yes. But sometimes I am passionate by soccer. I had to completely block, because I work with YouTube. So when I open up YouTube to schedule these Q&A sessions, when I open up YouTube, there's a lot of amazing things about soccer. And it's like soccer for 40 plus years old, techniques on how to perform well for 40 plus years old players, So I have an impression that YouTube is talking straight to me, and it is the beauty of algorithm. But then sometimes I caught myself like 1 hour watching, YouTube videos about how to position myself when I'm playing soccer. So it can be classified as interesting. Interesting is the worst enemy of important. The worst enemy of your relevant things to do. The worst enemy is interesting things. Yeah. So again, the reason I am talking about this is because I am your mentor, yeah, and so I care about you like personally and professionally, yeah, and professionally, and sometimes my siblings they come to me, my brother, my I have a sister that she always says, Marcelo, your day has 48 hours. How can you teach, to this number of students? And we have just recorded a CD. I have decided that uh, I want to have music in my life. I believe I am a better person if I have music in my life. I love music. And I love Lean Six Sigma, two loves. I love to teach. I love operational excellence. I love continuous improvement. But I do love music too. And I have decided that I want to have these two things, in my heart. So I have just released a new album. It is on Spotify. If you guys go to Spotify, and type my name, Marcelo Machado Fernandes, you will find the new album that we have just released last Thursday. And then this Thursday, there will be an important presentation at the capital of my state, Belo Horizonte is the name of the city. And there will be like TV. It will not be a live event, but they will be recording, editing, and then it will go to TV later on, to YouTube as well. So it's a big deal. It's a big thing. And then my sister is, Marcelo, how can you do like music professionally and a teacher? No, one of the reasons is I do sleep 8 hours per night, but I do the best I can to build my ecosystem. The best I can. It is not perfect. It is not a perfect ecosystem. But for example, it is very rare. You will not see me on Sunday or on Saturday night, hanging out with friends, just for hanging out, And I am not saying that this is wrong. Please, don't get me wrong. If you practice that, if you like to drink alcohol, I understand that. In my humble opinion, I don't like alcohol. I because of the history in my family. Yeah, my father is an alcoholic. My mother is an alcoholic. They don't drink anymore. But because the things I saw when I was a child, blah 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 blah, I decided not drinking alcohol. And I have a serious problem on like small talk and like when you go to pubs and then you meet friends and then you are like high and then you start talking about the solutions of all the problems in the world, then you get like self-confident and then you have the solution. I hate it. I hate. For me, this is pure waste. Pure waste. Pure waste. And then there is also a problem on the next day because you slept like late in the night, So there are some simple things. It's a decision. It's a decision that you need to make, It's a decision. What is important for you? Okay, your spiritual life, family, and then you want to have like a good career development. Wonderful. That's amazing. You need to write it down. Write it down. I want to have a house like this by 5 years from now, in 10 years from now. I want to have a family. I want to have a husband, a wife, children, dogs. I don't know. You need to write it down. Write it down. Smart, remember? Smart. It must be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Write it down. Write it down. If possible, with pictures, and then check all the time if the things that you are doing are converging you, are leading you to this dream. You want to have a close contact with God, for example. You want to have a solid family. You want to have your Lean Six Sigma school. You want to be a teacher. What do you want to accomplish in terms of final objectives? And then you check. And then maybe you find out that if you hang out with friends Friday for 2 hours, maybe, and then I don't know, maybe a little bit of alcohol, it's okay. It is helping you because then you relax. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. But maybe you will find out that an entire weekend drunk and hangover, and maybe you find out that this is killing. It is killing your energy because it is not about time management. It is about energy management. You are gonna track time, but the root causes are not in time. The root causes are related to energy. And it's always about finding your energizers and mapping out your energy drainers. What does energize you? What does drain your energy? You need to have this map. You need to have this map. You must have this map. Because unfortunately, in terms of ecosystem, sometimes you will realize that your energy drainer is a family member. Unfortunately, sometimes it is your father. Sometimes it is your mother that just speaks, negative things, and then it is draining your energy. And it doesn't mean that you will abandon your father and mother. You need to honor your parents. You need to love your parents, but you can manage. You can manage the interaction. Maybe with frequency, finding the right frequency, and preparing yourself up front, so you can minimize the negative effects of the energy draining. Believe me, I am not a coaching. I am not your coach. I am not coaching. Yeah? But I am talking about Pareto. Believe me, I am talking about Pareto. Be very careful in not operating. Please do not operate in this region. Please do not operate in this region. Okay? Do not operate in this region. Okay? Wonderful. Let me see. There are many questions and comments. Let me see here. Is there any way to show that 50% number automatically eliminate them? No, Vindra. No, you really need to count down the number of elements in your Pareto. Yeah? Yeah, I was just double checking on assistant, but there is no Pareto on assistant, because on Minitab assistant you always get like some comments, and additional conclusions. But yeah, you need to count. It could be useful in presenting to some persons who are only familiar with 80-20. Yes, definitely, definitely. I think the best way to explain to your audience that these are two different things is by segmenting into effect and causes. It is important to say that 80% we are talking about why. We are talking about response. We are talking about professional and personal objectives. We are talking about the dimension of the problem to be solved. Yeah, and 20% we are talking about the things to do. In this case, the defects that we should tackle. So I should tackle defect 4, 1, 10, 2, 5. Why? Because then the size of my pain will be reduced by 80%. So should I go to this party or not? Oh, interesting. This is X. Should I play soccer 3 times a week, 5 times a week, or just once a week? Should I go to the gym 3 times a week? Should I call my mom every single day for 1 hour, or should I call my mom once a week? And let her know that if there's any emergency, she can call at any time. Should I meet my father every single day or once a month? See, we are talking about X's. Should I take this training? Should I not take this training? Should I watch this movie? Should I not watch this movie? We are talking about 20%. Because see, out of 1,000 items, there are 200 items, 20%, 200 items that will promote 80% of your effect. And you need to be very careful. We need to be very careful because sometimes you are tackling. Let me ask you guys. If you go ahead and you address defect number 7, and then defect number 7, 16 defects. 16 defects. Let's suppose you tackle this defect, and let's consider here that the severity is the same for all of them. So if you tackle defect number 7, and defect number 7 comes to 0, there is a positive effect on that. You have promoted a positive effect on that. So what's wrong? What's wrong in tackling defect number 7? What's the problem in tackling defect number 7? Well, the problem in tackling defect number 7, again, considering that the effort and the severity, they are the same. When you tackle defect number 7, knowing that your energy is limited, is finite, when you are tackling defect number 7, you are for sure not tackling other defects. When you are having a meeting with a person, that's it. You are not having a meeting with another person. Simple like that. I know there are ways to multitask. I know there are people that know how to multitask. I think you all know that multitask is very questionable. But I know that there are people that know how to multitask, but normally we are mono-channel. So if we are doing one thing, I mean, you've made a decision. And this is a problem because sometimes you are so focused on these 16 defects that you have reduced to 0, and you are so proud of these 16 defects that you have reduced, that you don't see 88 defects. That you don't see. I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but many times the worst enemy of your great success is your minor success. Many times what is, blocking you from having something wonderful is something good. Something good that you are so afraid of losing that. And it works in corporate as well. Sometimes the worst enemy of you getting an amazing project, a super relevant project, is because you are so confident and so comfortable. dangerous word. Yeah, all this conversation about comfort zone that you guys know, they are so comfortable doing something that is good enough. That you don't see, the amazing things that can be done in terms of Lean Six Sigma projects. Yes. Does it make sense? Type here for me. Yes or not? Every day it is a decision because there are distractions on things that are interesting but not necessarily important. Yes, Jessica. Yes, Jessica, absolutely. Many times our worst enemy is definitely the package of interesting things. Yeah. And then one thing that you can do is you can create here a column of severity. And then you can see that, for example, defect 1, yeah, defect 1, the severity on a scale from 1 to 10 is severity 3, and defect 2, severity 2. Then you see that defect 3 is severity 10. Whoa. Defect 4 is severity 5. Yeah, and 2 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 4 and 10, and then you can create another column that is frequency, that is number of defects multiplied by severity. Simple like that. We call this weighted Pareto. Yes, weighted Pareto. And then you can simply do a math here. That is number of defects multiplied by severity. So again, here you have simply the product of severity and number of defects. And then you can go ahead and plot your Pareto now using frequency times severity. Frequency times severity. So very likely this is a much more accurate Pareto. Yeah. So now you know that defect number 10 is your most critical defect, and you should tackle this. And by the way, if you take, see, this is interesting. If you take, you guys tell me, type in our chat window. If I tackle only these two defects here, what kind of Pareto would I have? What kind of Pareto would I have? What kind of Pareto would I have? So 2 defects out of 10, 20%. Wonderful, wonderful. I have 20%. And if I tackle 20% of the defects, I would be addressing which percentage of my headache, of my headache, now considering frequency and also severity. So I would tackle 52%. So in this case, I would have a Pareto that is 52-20. So see that it does not add up to 100, and it doesn't need to add up to 100. There are some authors that say if you don't find an 80-20 Pareto, it is not a Pareto. You need to segment, you need to stratify in another way. In my opinion, this is exaggerated, in my opinion. The only thing is the first number must be greater than the second. Must be greater than the second. So 52.1 to any. Yeah. Wonderful, Vindra. I'm glad to know you like it. Yeah. It is a very simple tool. Pareto is a very simple tool, but many times we I think we underestimate. We we tend to underestimate simple things, right? And many times there is a lot of power in simple things. Questions? Professor, can you share techniques and tips for managing project scope after they define and concept stage in the make design for Six Sigma? After defining concept stage in the make design for Six Sigma are completed. Yeah, so I have 3 recommendations for you, Vindra. The first one, weekly public reports, status report. My recommendation, every Friday, every single Friday, public, open, an email, simple email, okay, simple email to the champion, process owner or process owners, the entire team, plus stakeholders. Weekly report. Second recommendation, you must have a planned versus actual status in terms of progress. For example, I was expecting this project to have progressed 57%, and right now we are at 30%. Wonderful. And then there's a green. I love traffic light. So you create different dimensions of communication. Because if you put like a traffic light, there is a green. Maybe if there is a stakeholder that doesn't want to read the details about the project, that's okay. There is a green. Project status every single Friday, regardless if this is holiday, every Friday. Email to everybody. And there's a green. And then you have the details. Yeah? Wonderful. And the third recommendation is, how do you define this score? And in fact, the 3 recommendations are somehow connected. How do you define? You have a simple action plan And you have, for each action, you have a score for effort, a score from 1 to 10. So you have 20 actions, then you have a score for that. Yeah? A score for that. So based on that, you know that this is in fact from Agile. It has to do with agility, the story points. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the concept of story points. Yeah. So if I'm talking about a more complex task, then the number of story points will go up. Yeah. And so you know that this week, ideally, you should have, like, in terms of target, the same number of points per week. Yeah. So then you have an idea that your team can, like, deliver 10 points per week, 20 points per week. Okay, wonderful. And sometimes 20 points mean one action, one important action, sometimes 5 actions, but every single week. And if you are behind, report behind. Because Vindra, let me tell you something, and you don't need to agree with me. We are Latinos, yeah? I know you are in Central America, if I am not wrong. I don't know if you know, but culturally speaking, there is a huge difference between, and I will place Latin America, Africa versus North America and north of Europe and Asia. So let me create 3 strata, okay, 3 segments. Latin America and Africa, 1 segment. It's our segment. I am in Brazil. I don't know if you guys know. North America and Europe, another segment, and in Asia, a 30 segment. Latinos and Africans, we are very good in terms of establishing personal connections. Yes or not? Type here for me. We are very good. We are high energy. We are happy. Yeah? If we compare with, like, North Americans and people from mainly north of Europe, you see that they are more serious, more, yeah. We can argue that we are warmer. Yeah, we are warm and fuzzy. Yeah, warmer, and and I'll say something, and again, you guys don't need to agree with me. From my experience in running projects all over the globe, in more than 50 countries, like in person, traveling, in terms of adherence to the plan, this ability to connect personally to people is terrible. It's terrible. Because we get friends everywhere. I mean, I have many people from Nielsen, the company that I worked before, that came to my house, to my apartment, slept here, with their families, with small children, And then we kind of mix together professional and personal. Again, there are some pros. But in my humble opinion, it's just my point of view. In terms of adherence to plan, this is terrible. Because how can I report that Vindra, my friend Vindra, is behind? And then at this point, we make the worst mistake that we can make when we are talking about managing, project progress. That is to bias. Because bias, conscious bias, is nothing but corruption. corruption. So when we know that the progress is 27%, but because it is my friend, because I like this person, or because of politics, I go ahead and I type 33, this is corruption. Corruption. So this is something that took some time for me to understand that, and it happened 10 years after graduation. Yeah, after I graduated, the first 10 years, I thought that being nice, and sometimes, not showing the real scenario, I thought that it was being like politically intelligent. And it was working for Delphi that I found out that no, 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 this is not good. This is not good for you, for the company, for the other person. Bias is evil. Bias is evil. And please don't get me wrong, I am not talking this to Vindra. I'm talking this to everybody. And I know there are many students from Latin America. I have many students in Central America, from South America, and from Africa. So this message is for everybody, but more concentrated to my lovely students in the African continent, Central America, and South America. Okay? Please, 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 zero conscious bias. Zero, 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 zero. It is what it is. I'm sorry. I love you, Mary. I love you, John. I love you, but it is what it is. I am so sorry. It is what it is. That's it. Boom. That's it. And then it is easier. You guys will see. You feel better. It's simple. It is simple. It is simple. It is simple. Green Belt certification. You go there, open up 90 questions. You have 3 hours. If you score 70%, you become a certified Green Belt. Wonderful. Sometimes I get emails. Marcelo, I did not get 70% because of one question. Can I redo this one question? No. With love. Please feel my love. Feel my love. No. Simple. 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 No. You need to take the test again. With love. With full love. So again, I am not talking this to Vindra, I'm talking this to everybody, okay? And if this message doesn't make sense for you, that's okay. It's just my point of view, I think any sort of manipulation or, conscious bias, there is a price for that. There is a price for that. So it is what it is. And when you don't see the gaps, when you do not expose respectfully, when you do not expose the gaps, it is impossible to solve. It is impossible to solve. Yeah? My pleasure, Gina. Thank you so much, Vindra. Thank you for your questions. Thank you, John. I'm glad to know. Yes, Nishi. And you said managing project scope. Just confirm to me, Vindra, if you meant like also like project progress, because after define phase on the make projects, you still don't know, you still don't know the scope with good confidence, only after analyze phase. So when you have your root causes, Then for improve phase, you can manage very well. For design for Six Sigma, then concept stage. Yeah, when you reach concept stage and then you go for optimization and verification, then you can manage much better. You know, you have a much better um, predictability level. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Yes, Nishi. Yeah, it's easier. It's much easier because sometimes you have uh, some discussions, or some aggressive argumentation, but it's way better than the negative effects that can come later. Yeah. Guys, I hope this hour went through as fast for you as it went for me. I can't believe that we have reached the top of the hour. It's always a pleasure to be here with you all. I wish you an amazing week ahead. I'll keep doing my best to stay here with you guys, to touch base at least once a week with you guys. Yeah, there will be some a sequence of international trips in the next weeks. Okay, so maybe you will not see me exactly here in this environment. Yeah, but once again, I will do all my best. Okay, to keep these weekly conversations. Sometimes maybe I'll need to change the day, the time, but we'll be together. Okay? Thank you so very much. Just type for me, where are you in the Lean Six Sigma journey? Type here for me. Are you a WB white belt? Are you a yellow belt? Are you a green belt? Are you a black belt? Are you a master black belt? Or are you starting your Lean Six Sigma journey? Thank you, Vindra. Wonderful. Type me if there is any GB student or certified GB that is aiming to become a certified black belt. Now, last question, if I can ask. How excited would you be? And this question is only for GBs. Or no, this is a general question. If you get the black belt certification from my training company, and also a preparatory course for you to take the most respected black belt certification on earth, that is the ASQ, American Society for Quality black belt certification. So again, you would be certified by me MF Treinamentos, MF OPEX, but you would have like a 20-hour course, additional course, where I'll be resolving an entire test, ASQ black belt test, to get you prepared to become an ASQ certified black belt. If possible, type here for me on a scale from 0 to 10 if that excites you or not, the ASQ component, the preparatory course for the ASQ. So if possible, type here for me, ASQ excites me very much. If not, type here, no, Marcelo, it does not. Yeah, do you guys think it's a and then maybe you can ask, Marcelo, why having your black belt certification and also ASQ? Why having both? Why having both? Because in my humble opinion, I believe that our learning strategies are world class. Humbly speaking, I don't know any other school that uses the learning strategy that we use at MFOPEX. And then there is also a lot of practicality. It's very practical. ASQ is very much theoretical, but once again, it is the most respected on earth. On earth. Yeah? Okay, wonderful. I'm glad to know that. I'm glad to know that. So stay tuned. Stay tuned because there are good chances that you guys see an invitation, okay? For you guys coming soon. Okay? Wonderful. Thank you so very much. Stay blessed. Yes. There will be some good news soon. Okay? Stay blessed, and I'll see you guys in 1 week from now. Bye bye. Oh, I should finish the song, right? This song is from Ennio Morricone, an Italian composer. This is from the movie. He composed like Cinema Paradiso, Gabriel's Oboe from the movie Mission, and this is from a movie named 1900. Okay, it's about a pianist that was living, yeah, on a cruise, yeah. Let me take the other guitar. That's much better. so much. Have an amazing week.